You did something well. Someone praised you. And your very first thought wasn't joy. It was, they just don't know what I'm really like. This isn't modesty. It isn't a coincidence. It's a mechanism that runs inside you every single day. And today, I'm going to show you where it comes from and why it's so hard to turn off. The story, recognizing yourself. Imagine a person, let's call him Alex. Alex was a good student, does solid work, and his colleagues respect him. But every time he needs to speak up in a meeting, he goes quiet. Because he thinks, what if I say something stupid? What if they figure out I'm not as smart as I seem? At home, he rereads every message 5 times before hitting send. He avoids being in photos. He postpones projects. Not because he's lazy, but because something you haven't started yet can't be done wrong. Do you recognize anyone in that description? In 1978, psychologists Pauline Clance and Suzanne Imes gave this phenomenon a name, the impostor syndrome. But it's not an illness, and it's not a diagnosis. It's a thinking pattern, and most people have it. Here's what happens in your head. You achieve something. Your brain says, that was luck. It was a fluke. Others helped. You receive praise. Your brain says, they're wrong. They don't see the real me. You make a mistake. Your brain says, there it is. Proof. I knew it all along. Imagine this. You get promoted. You hear the news, and the first thing you feel isn't joy. It's fear. Now everyone will expect more from me. Now they'll finally see I can't handle it. You got what you worked for, and immediately turned it into a threat. That's not neurosis. That's imposter syndrome in action. Success doesn't close the anxiety. It amplifies it. Evidence of success gets rejected by the brain. Evidence of failure gets accepted as truth. That's not logic. That's a filter. And here's the paradox. The more capable a person is, the stronger this syndrome tends to be. Research shows that high performers are the ones who doubt themselves the most, because they can see the complexity of a task and the gap between where they are. Where does this come from? Most often, childhood. Parents who only praised results, not effort. School where what mattered was the grade, not the thinking. Comparison as a default. But look, Mia got an A. When a child hears you could do better over and over, they start to believe their current level is never enough. Today, this has become even sharper because we see the best versions of everyone else and compare them to our worst version of ourselves. When you scroll your feed, your brain sees hundreds of people in their best moments. A project launched, a goal reached, a trip, a result. Nobody posts a Monday morning at 7 a.m. when they're terrified to start. Nobody films the moment they want to quit. And your brain, literally, starts to believe that other people don't have those moments, that only you feel doubt, only you feel afraid. And do you know what the hardest part is? It's not that you feel like you're not enough. It's that you believe it. You're not pretending. You genuinely believe everyone around you belongs here. And you just somehow ended up in the room by accident. And so you start spending enormous energy, not on growing, but on not being found out, on not showing weakness, on making sure they never figure it out. But here's what's important to understand. Imposter syndrome can't be cured in one go, but you can learn to notice it. And that alone changes step 1. When you catch the thought, I'm not good enough, ask yourself, is this a fact or a filter? Don't argue with the thought, just ask the question. Picture this, you send a report and immediately think, I probably wrote that badly. Stop. Is that a fact? Or is it the habitual filter switching on automatically? You are not obligated to believe every thought that appears in your head. Step 2. Keep a list, not of tasks, but of achievements. Small ones, real ones. Because the brain forgets the good things help it remember. This isn't affirmations, it's not tell yourself you're great. It's simply recording reality. Helped a colleague, write it down. Finished a hard book, write it down. Said what you thought even though it was scary, write it down. Open that list a month from now. Your brain will say, these are small things. But they're not small things. They're you. Step 3. Talk to someone you trust. Imposter syndrome lives in silence. It dies when you say it out loud, because 9 times out of 10 the person across from you will say, you know, I think that about myself too. And something important happens in that moment. You realize this isn't your unique brokenness. This is a shared human experience. Remember Alex? In the end, he did speak up in that meeting. His idea turned out to work, and he didn't believe it. He thought, fluke. But it wasn't a fluke. You are not an imposter. You're simply a person who was taught to doubt yourself before they were taught to believe in themselves. And that can be unlearned. If you recognized yourself in this video, drop one word in the comments, imposter, just so you know you're not alone.